Yeah, that's the intake box with oil dripping out of it. All right, y'all, I promised you an update video. Here it is. So, well, you guys saw that first little clip. That was the intake box that had oil dripping out of it. Oil is not supposed to be in the intake box. It's not supposed to be there. Oil is everywhere. Oil is absolutely everywhere. It's in the inlet, it's in the charge pipe, it's in the intercooler, it's everywhere. So basically, the turbo exploded, okay? The RV6 turbo totally exploded. And car's at Doteki right now. I had it towed over here. Hybrid Works, they have a race this week, so they're just totally slammed, and I didn't want to be a burden on them. So I had it brought over to Doteki. They got a barometer inside the engine, just looked at everything. Doesn't seem like there's any chunks in there. They pulled the oil filter, and it's got some metallic flakes in it. Nothing overly crazy, but definitely stuff that's there that shouldn't be there. And look at this. Just a second. This is my tailpipe. That's oil coming out of my tailpipe. That's not what should be happening. The entire car smells like oil. In fact, this shop smells like oil. All because of my car. Here's the RV6 turbo. There's the, I guess this is the cold side. I feel like I should be censoring this right now. The turbo just pieced out. It straight up said, I'm not going to be a turbo anymore. I'm going to be many small little pieces. And I'm going to splatter all over your engine. That's what it said. And that's what it did. The best that I can surmise from all this, after having a look at everything, car got hot. The AN line on the RV6 turbo got loose. Coolant line popped off. The AN line that got loose. The coolant line popped off. The turbo got superheated. Probably welded the boost valve shut or caused it to no longer function. Turbo continued to get hotter. We're estimating probably around 1800 degrees. Based on what we know turbos do at certain temperatures, and then decided to promptly explode. Now, the fortunate or unfortunate, this whole thing is unfortunate. This really blows. But the fortunate thing is, looks like the compression on the engine is okay. All 4 cylinders are coming in within spec for an FK8 or an FL5 K20C1 motor. Spoke to a couple of different people on where the compression should be, and it's where it should be. But oil is absolutely everywhere. It's going to need a deep clean. We change the oil. In fact, let me show you guys oil filter. All right, so we pulled the oil filter and we tore it apart just to see what it looks like. So OEM oil filter. I mean, I don't even need to really zoom in that hard, but there's definitely metal. There's metal pieces in there. And you can see all the shiny bits there. So it looks like the oil filter did its job. We did an oil change. We put a new oil filter on, and we tried firing the car back up, and it was just running like crap. But that could also be because the entire system is filled with oil right now. So look at this thing. That's the O2 sensor. They don't come that black, guys. It's not what they're supposed to look like.
No, speaking of
Which probably means my downpipe is filled with oil.
Smoke for sure, probably.
Oh man. John has already started cleaning this stuff up, but basically this had a puddle of oil in it. That's the air filter, which isn't that old, but it's totally soaked with soot. I mean, oil, it's just everywhere. There's the inlet with still a river of oil in it. Not good. Definitely not good. We're not really gonna know what the actual status of the car and the engine are completely until we get everything cleaned up. The injectors, the spark plugs need to be replaced. The downpipe needs to be replaced. Almost everything I did with this car, power-wise, needs to be replaced. Except for the Flash Pro, which is an electronic thing, so that didn't get covered in oil. But my cabin smells like oil now, so maybe some oil did get on it. Who knows? All right, so here's the long and the short of it. Right now, the car is going to be down for a while. The oil is absolutely everywhere. Any part of the engine where air runs through, the oil got to, okay? Including the top of the cylinders. So every pipe is going to have to come off. Intercooler, charge pipe, inlet pipe, all the sensors, O2 sensors, MAF sensor. Yeah, got all the way to the MAF sensor. Top of the cylinders will need to be cleaned out. It's gonna, there's gonna be oil in the exhaust, and that'll probably, even once this is all said and done, the oil is probably gonna be burning out of my exhaust for a little while. It just sucks. Actually, this is the automotive equivalent of your appendix exploding. That's what this is. It's like my turbo had appendicitis, or the turbo itself was appendicitis, and it wasn't addressed before it exploded. And now it's a hot mess and it needs to be cleaned. So if you've ever had appendicitis, now... Oh, guys, I'm really trying to keep a positive attitude here. My emotions when it comes to my cars ranges from, oh my God, this is the best thing ever, to I'm selling everything and I'm taking the bus everywhere from now on. You know, I'm sure some of you guys have felt that way at some point as well, but this is the not fun part about being a car enthusiast. But I stayed true to my word. I told you guys I'd always share everything with you. Here it is. This is a low. This is definitely a low. Okay, just some clarification real quick on the AN fitting line that came undone at the track. The coolant line that was going into the turbo. That's really where we believe the problem started at. And I thought there was a specific torque spec for that AN fitting line. It turns out there isn't. It's just a good and tight spec, which is, well, it is what it is all I can say. The good thing about AN fitting lines is the way it's designed is it's conical. So it'll be shaped like this. Threads will go around it, and the more you thread it on, if you're threading it on this way, the tighter it gets. And it does well on pressure lines, because if there's pressure from the inside going into the pipe, it applies more pressure on the threads and keeps it even tighter than it already is. That's the premise behind it. The problem with AN fitting lines, and there's different quality AN fitting lines, right? Not like everything in life. There's better quality parts. Some are good, some are bad, some are decent. It's really hard to tell what exactly happened. Like it's really hard to tell if it's really in essence, it's the issue spawned from the AN fitting line. I think we can comfortably say that's where it all started. But if there isn't a torque spec or a specific torque spec and you're just going by tightness, one of the downfalls of AN fitting lines is if you over tighten it, you can crack it. So really, you're leaving it up to judgment on how tight that AN fitting line is. Which I don't know. I've been around cars my whole life, and I've always modded my cars. It seems like there's always a torque spec for everything. It seems a little bit weird to me that there isn't a torque spec for this specific part. But that's how I understand it. So that's my takeaway. It's really, it's really hard to point the finger at anyone or anything in a situation like this. And I think that's really the important message and takeaway I want to convey to you guys, because when something catastrophic like this happens, hopefully it never happens to you or anything like it, but when it does, it's really easy to want to place the blame on someone or something. And sometimes, I'm not 100% sure if that's the case here, but sometimes it's just an unfortunate incident and it's not really anyone or anything to blame. So that's it for today's video, guys. I appreciate you all. Thank you so much for the loving comments. Thank you for checking in with me. This is going to be a long journey to get this car back to good. I'm not going to give up. It's a tough road ahead. Supra's probably going to get done here before the Type R gets back up and running. So for now, I'll be driving my EP3. Thank goodness I have that. But until next time, stay hungry, stay fast, stay tuned. I'm Michael Baxina.
Okay, I've been working like 3 jobs. Probably why I never see ya. Probably why I never have time for the fake friends that won't be ya. Oh God, I've been running now. Up early when the sun is out. Not setting out my own soul, but those real ones, they coming out. Oh look who's reaching out. Old friends wanna feature now. They don't work, so they need it free. Ooh, you reaching out from the west side of that.